You are going to be using Homestyler.com to create your dream room, dream bedroom, dream living room, dream bathroom, whatever it may be. So when you get to Homestyler.com, first X out this window and you're going to go up to sign in. So for your email, I want you to use my email. And your password is math, M-A-T-H. Sign in. Okay, first order of business when you get into the Homestyler is you want to make sure that you have a blank grid in front of you. So if you don't have a blank grid, go to File and click New. When you have a blank grid, then you're going to start over here in the left work area and you're going to start in drag and drop rooms. And please just start with a square room. Okay, and right now I don't really know how big that room is, so anytime you want to find out how big something is, go to View and click Show Dimensions. Right, that only works if you're in a two-dimensional view like this. So now I can see that my room, each wall is 13 feet and 10 inches long. If you double click on the room itself, you'll find out down here under wall dimensions that the wall's height are 9 feet. If you want to look at your room in a three-dimensional view, which is exciting, there it is. These keys up here will rotate your room so you can see its bare walls and nothingness from all angles. All right, I'm going to go back to view because you can only see the dimensions when you're in that two-dimensional view. Show dimensions. Okay, now I'm not crazy about the floors in this room, so I'm just going to double click on them, and under room style, I can change my floors right here. So you can pick carpet and they give you options. I'm going to pick hardwood floors and I'm going to pick these dark ones right here. All right, I like that a lot better. So I've got my basic room. Once you have your basic floor plan of your room like this and you get your room shape situated and you like your floors, then I would like you to save your room. So I'm going to go File, Save. Please call your room your first name and your last initial. And I've done this a few times, so I'm going to say 2 on mine. And down here where it says public, click Yes, so I'll be able to see it later. All right, so save it as your first name, last initial, before you get too far. And this is just verification that I've saved it, so I'm going to close that out. All right, now we get to start the fun part. So you're going to go over on the very left corner where you have that little tiny greenhouse and the little drop down, and we're going to finish building the frame of our room. So your room needs some things. If you ever want to leave, your room needs a door. If you like some natural light in your room, it needs some windows. If you like a fireplace, you need some fireplaces. So you'll click on whatever you want. If it's a door, then find a door you like. This one will do, and add it in your room where you want it. I'm going to go to info size. All right. I'm going to add a fireplace because fireplaces are awesome and I don't currently have one in my room and wish I do. All right, there we go. The fireplace in the corner. I'm going to double click on that. I can see its dimensions. All right, it says everything's in inches, so 51 inches wide, 51 inches deep, and 100 inches high. I can also, on some things, change the finish, so change how it looks. So I'm going to change my fireplace to cut black, which I don't like. I think that looks kind of weird, but here's the cool thing. Let's check it out in 3D view. All right, so that's what it looks like so far. I'm going to go back and change my fireplace again to, what's this one? Ooh, that's kind of cool. River rock. That's also kind of cool. What else we got? Let's do something crazy. All right, we're gonna go back up here. We're gonna do this one. Okay, so I've got my fireplace. Like how it looks. If I want to see it from another angle, there we go. So now, after you have the basic frame of your room, I would probably add some windows, but I'm guessing you can figure out how to do that. After you have your frame for your room, then you can furnish your room. And since mine is going to be my bedroom, I'm going to click on bedroom and I'm going to add some cool things like a bed. Well, that's kind of essential. All right, when you try to add something in 3D view, it won't work, so you have to go back up to view, switch it back to 2D, and then you can drag and drop something in there. A lot of items like beds or nightstands, you might want to rotate, and you can using that little arrow. So I'm just going to move that right there and go back to my list. I can add any of these other things, and you can also add things if it's a bedroom. You can add things from the living room list or the dining room list or whatever you need. So I'm going to go living room. I'm going to grab a chair because you can't have a fireplace without a chair or without a bean bag. All right, so I've got my bean bag. Anyway, just keep looking through this list and adding things until you're pretty happy with how your room looks. And when you get done, or if you decide first that you don't have any time left, you want to get back to it another day, make sure that you save your design. So when you log in next time, you'll be able to pick up where you left off and not start over. When you do log in next time, if your design doesn't pop right up, then you just come up here to File, Open, and you'll find your design that you were just working on. Happy home designing!